Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Spotlight in Business for September the 12th, 2023. I'm Tammy Defoe, President and founder of GTApreneurs, and have the pleasure of introducing to you today Diane Murphy. She's a holistic nutritionist, and she will be the guest speaker at our next in-person business networking event on Tuesday, September the 26th from 5:30 to 8:30 in Toronto. So she's going to give us a lot of great information on the 26th, even some samples of her products, which I'm looking forward to trying out myself. But today we're going to learn more about her first. So welcome to the show today, Diane. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing great, Tammy. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. And tell us more about yourself.
Yes, I live in Toronto. I've been a nutritionist for about 15 years. I'm a mother of two, 11 and 13, and just try to keep busy as much as I can. But I love my work and things are great.
Fantastic. Yeah. And so tell us, how did you get into being a nutritionist? What was your motivation?
Yeah, so I come from the corporate world. I was a corporate manager, and just the hours just were crazy, and the type of work, and most of all, the level of stress. And I always just felt like if I stay in this job, it's going to make me sick. So, but I really didn't know what to do. But one thing I did know I wanted to do was to quit smoking. I'd quit smoking. I'd smoked for years, but every time I tried to quit smoking, I gained 20 or 30 pounds, and I didn't want to have to go through that again. So one time I just started searching the internet for how to lose weight or how not to gain weight while smoking. And I came across this school, the Institute of Holistic Nutrition, where I went, because as it turns out, no matter what kind of diet thing I tried online, I still gained 20 pounds. So I ended up going to studying nutrition. It just resonated with me. The way that they taught sounded a little unconventional, a little different, and I was in the mood for something new. So I had left my life of the corporate world behind. I quit smoking. I did gain that weight. I went to school, and throughout the time that I was in school, I managed to lose that weight again. And not just that, but I've just seen so many amazing transformations over the years. So that's what got me into it.
Fantastic. That's amazing. It's hey, I'm glad you did that, got that motivation from going to school for that. And that's not an easy feat, losing 20 pounds. So
No, or quitting
congratulations.
smoking.
Or quitting smoking. Oh my God, it's a double whammy. Yeah.
Right.
Congratulations on that,
Thank
right? I'm
you.
sure that, yeah, you're welcome. That really helps you to help your clients.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to take nutrition, have like a diploma, but I think it's even more powerful when you've had that personal experience that you can, share with people to say, I know what you're going through, right? I've been there too, and stuff like that.
Absolutely. It really helps me to practice what I preach too. I just, I have so much buy-in for it because
Mhm.
I've seen results over and over again.
For sure. Yeah. And you got to be that role model. So,
Right.
you got to make sure you're living the
Yeah.
dream, you're walking the talk and everything else.
Yeah. I
So
can't show up with a cigarette, right?
that's right. No, yeah, or with a piece of chocolate cake, right? You got to
Yeah.
keep it
That's
healthy.
right.
Yeah. But yeah, so tell us more about the people that you help.
So over the years, I've worked with plenty. I've done pediatric nutrition, prenatal, postnatal, women over 40. So now my demographic is typically women. I've changed my specialty to working with women who are living with or recovering from breast cancer. I changed this about 2 years ago, 2 to 3 years ago. That's when I made the change. So I still won't say no working with anybody if they want my help, but for the most part, that's my demographic is women who have breast cancer.
And why did you choose that specialty?
Well, it's always been an interest to me. I think cancer, but it was always really intimidating in my early years of studying nutrition. Or of being a nutritionist, actually. If someone had cancer and they wanted to see me, I would almost shy away because even in school, there didn't seem to be a ton of information out there about alternative health in the cancer world. So I knew to maybe give them a high fiber diet and maybe to eliminate toxins. And I knew to do anti-inflammatory, but it just never, cancer is so big, and just any diet that I wanted to put them on or meal plan just never felt good enough. And I just felt like there was so much more out there maybe that I didn't know. So, and then a few years later, some of my friends were getting diagnosed with breast cancer. This was about 10 years ago. And just seeing what they were going through. And I started thinking, oh my gosh, like, what would I do if this were me? So, so I started doing the research, started looking into it. Docu-series, scientists, naturopathic, oncologists, integrative medicine, all sorts of stuff. And I was completely blown away by the amount of information that was out there. And so over the years, I kind of started putting protocols together. And then fast forward to about 3 years ago, my older sister was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer. And it put me in a position to support her as much as I could through this horrifying diagnosis. It was advanced, it had gone to her bones already. So, but it helped me I had a much better idea of what I could do to support her than I would have had I not gone out to research all that information.
Yeah, well, sorry about to hear about your sister, first of all.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, like a lot of people don't realize that, what you put in your body every day, right? That really affects your overall health, how much of an effect it can have on, if someone does have cancer, right? Or in terms of preventing cancer.
Yes.
Unfortunately, with the medical profession, that oftentimes it's more about sick care than health care, right? It's more about
Yes.
the reactive. You have the problem, okay, we have to fix it with with medication, right? With drugs. And I mean, if that works, fantastic, right? But I mean, first of all, trying to prevent cancer, but then also to fight off again the effects if someone does need to get chemotherapy, to try to help to minimize the side effects, right? And that, and I mean, may potentially even need less of the drugs, right? If the
Yes.
nutrition is there. So
And I think this is what a lot of people are unaware of. So when I had this passenger seat view of the conventional process when I was, working with my sister, supporting my sister. And, I just noticed this massive gap between the conventional and the alternative systems, which is such a shame because they could really move mountains when they're allowed to work together. But, the idea of diet, like if a woman wants to change her diet after a cancer diagnosis, she has to go out and advocate for herself because they will not give her any information at the hospital, or they'll say diet doesn't matter, or maybe at best they'll give her like a cookie cutter meal plan that they use for anything, but there is so much more out there. And there's so much hope and inspiration lying on the other side of mainstream medicine. And it's just, now it's become my mission to get that word out, to say that, for the this advice that you hear that diet doesn't matter, diet absolutely matters. And I've seen it over and over again, and not just with my clients who have cancer, but just as a nutritionist over the last 15 years. And more women need to know, or more people with cancer need to know, that they're more empowered and they have more control over their diagnosis than they think.
for sure, yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, there's all sort of different cancers, right? I mean, so not just breast cancer, whatever type somebody has, and again, whether it be prevention or helping people who are going through chemo to reduce the side effects, right? Or again, just to, help the body heal itself more naturally as well.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
quality of life, I think
Yeah.
ultimately that's really what it's about. I mean, unfortunately, we can't promise any sort of a cure, but
Yeah.
we can change quality of life. So for, these women, especially with advanced cancers where quality time is so important, that if we can bring up their energy levels so that they can be with their kids and do things with their kids during the day and do mom stuff, or if they still want to work, they can still do a little bit of work. It's making it as easy for them as possible.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think that's great. And can you tell us a recent success story you've had with one of your clients?
Yes, sure. So I guess I'll say for one thing that I like to use, there's a couple of things I like to use as measures of the progress that we're making. Two things in particular, and one is blood work, and one is just looking at their quality of life. So that usually tells me we're on the right track. So when they're going through the throes of chemotherapy, usually they're getting blood work every week or two, which is good because we can keep track of sort of where their hemoglobin levels are at, or where their white blood cell count. Sometimes they can't go further with certain medications for chemo if their white blood cell count is down too low. So I recently had a client who her white blood cell counts were dropping week after week for about 3 weeks or so. So then on the fourth week, they didn't know if they were going to be able to start her on this other medication that they needed to if her white blood cell count went below 2. So anyways, lo and behold, it was sitting at about 1.8, but they wanted to go ahead with the therapy anyway. So what we did in the week is juicing and wheatgrass are two of the major things that I use with all my clients because it is just incredibly powerful. So we put together a little protocol, a juicing protocol for her. She did and this is cold pressed juice that she could do right at home with her own juicer. And so she did a couple cups a day from that little tiny period we had from 1 week to the next when she was going to be going for her next therapy. And her white blood cell count actually jumped from 1.8 to 2.9, which was good. So they could go ahead with that next treatment, which was meaningful.
That's amazing. Wow. It's
Yeah.
just, again, so powerful. What you put in your body makes all the difference in the world, right? Like,
It really can. And that these cells
yeah,
are really starving for nutrients. We run and we thrive on nutrients, and cancer thrives in a nutrient deficient body. So it only makes sense to start, saturating our cells with all the good stuff.
absolutely. And it said while you're at it, right, can help with all sort of other things, right? So it can help with weight management, help with stress reduction, with,
Yes.
preventing, heart disease or diabetes or all kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Anything. It's never futile. So, and that's the thing about holistic nutrition, is that you're looking at the whole picture. You're not just looking at one condition or one issue. You're trying to heal the whole body.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it all works together, right? It's
Yeah.
all different working together. So,
Yeah.
well, fantastic. I'm really impressed with that jump from 1.8 to 2.9. That's amazing. And I'm looking forward to trying your juice. Oh my God, yes, you give me some
Y-
great news about it, and maybe I need to start juicing more. Probably most of us need to start juicing more. But yeah, definitely
yeah.
look forward to having you on Tuesday, September the 26th. Everybody out there, make sure you register for the event. Come on, get some free juice samples and learn all about how you can reduce your risk of cancer and other health conditions, and you can help to, improve your quality of life if you are going through these things, right? And just to bring up your overall health. So thanks so much again for coming today, Diane. Excited to have you come on the 26th, and you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Tammy. I can't wait. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.